I'm watching you.
I'd like to start.
That's the second
First of
she
all,
got off of that.
Ah, righto.
Bunch on people, the clan which I'm from as well. I'm Ollie's Yakel, down in the McLean area. Some people may know my family being the Herons, and it's a pleasure for me to be back on what is close to my mind, close to my country as well. I'd like to pass acknowledgement to the elders, past and present. We must stop and think at times of the wonderful land that we actually walk on every day. The land that us people, it's now going back over 50,000 years, lived off this land and actually cherished every part of it, the plants, right through to the individual animals, using our different totems. I'd like to pass acknowledgement to the invited guests. Margaret Hughes from Connect, thank you for your support today and supporting this program. Acknowledge the deputies, Mr. Gary Ray and Christine Goorie. And a big thank you to Angela and Liz. They've invited me down today and given me the opportunity to speak to such a wonderful bunch of high school students. And acknowledge the teachers and students. The teachers are the people that provide the learning of today. In traditional times it would have been our elders, our countrymen. They led the learning. We had our learning circles, etc. Today the teachers are the ones who are teaching the modern learning. We must respect that, as well as respect the learning that you continue to have at home with your parents, your aunties, uncles and grandparents. A little bit about myself. It is a pleasure for me to be here today. I don't think that I'm anything special or have been anything special in saying that. I grew up as a young child in McLean, and I spent a few years growing there, my first couple of years, and then moved on quite regularly around New South Wales and Queensland. Mum moved me about with her work, and so I've been fortunate enough, but unfortunate that I attended 12 different high schools in my schooling career. In doing that, I went to 11 in just 8 years. So when you start to calculate things, some years I went to over 2 or 3 different high schools in one schooling year. I've lived in even over 25 different houses while I've been learning and while I've been growing to the person I am today. Now, as I reflect on all that, it has been such a positive for me. I've learned so much as a result of my experiences in moving around so much. I'm able to communicate openly with all people from different cultures. I live now down in Sydney, and that is one environment which is full of many different cultures. We sit here in this hall today, and is full of many different cultures and people from many different pathways. And it is a pleasure for me to be able to communicate. I've learned so much from so many different places that I've been to. I've had the opportunities to learn from different teachers as I've been to so many different schools. I myself, I'm a PE teacher and have been a PE teacher for the last 5 years. I now work at Macquarie University, and I've been in Macquarie University for the past 6 months. My role at Macquarie University is Indigenous outreach, so primarily my focus is on Indigenous students, and I actively work to, help generations of tomorrows. But I don't stop with that. I'd like to extend that. I'm hoping to help all students within high schools, outside of high schools, to make their way to university. I see university as being that pinnacle point where you can make those pathways into the careers that you like to have. However, everything I've done has gotten to me where I am today. I'm in a job that I love, and I want to continue working with young people and building aspirations. For instance, all of you can go to university. You can go to TAFE, you can go to full-time employment, and you can succeed in your passion or your chosen area. This was brought to my attention when I was in year 11 and 12. I was my PE teacher was sitting down outside the Oval one day. He happened to also be my rugby league coach at the time. He was a bit of a mentor and as well as a role model. He asked me, what are you going to do one day? What are you going to do when you finish high school? He said, I know you have rugby league and you have a contract with the rugby league team. I know you probably want to play NRL. And as most young Goorie lads, want to get up there and be proud of our country and lead and hopefully make the Australian team. I shrugged and like any other 16-year-old and said I want to work on the farm if I don't play NRL. Now, he said one of the most crucial things that made me change my perceptions of things. He asked me, why don't you go to university? Why don't you become the next PDHB teacher? Why don't you be the next teacher to the generation of tomorrow's? He said you have a passion for sport and you love talking to people and interacting. So these skills and abilities that I had gave me the opportunity, and he pointed that out, that I had the opportunity to possibly go into university and be a PE teacher. So from that one little conversation of someone actually saying to me that I could possibly go to university and that I could be the teacher of tomorrow, I took that up and I actually went down to Newcastle University and I studied for 4 years and have been a PE teacher for the last 5 years. And teaching will be something that I go back to. Now, I didn't think that I could be a teacher, and I hadn't aspired. Two things I aspired to was to play NRL and then or to be a farmer, like my father. He was a farmer from Maclean, actually, and we spent a lot of our time in Bellingen where he managed a farm. But with that in mind, now it's your turn, and you must think of the opportunities that you really have to really excel in your chosen areas. Thinking back on all the high schools I've attended and all the moving around I've done, I'm sure there's the majority of the students here can put your hand up and say that you've gone to only a handful of schools, or you've been lucky enough that you've attended the same primary school and the same high school. So what that has resulted in that you've had a continued learning opportunity, you've had a continued family structure and teacher structure around you that can provide you with a stable environment for you to succeed. Now what you need to do as an individual, speaking to the children, is put your hand up and actually say you want to go on and lead with that. And with the passion of your teachers around you, you absolutely can. One thing I just want to tell is a little quick story about a lady. She happens to be an Aboriginal lady. I learned it recently. She started university at 60 years of age. Most people look to retire at that age. She grew up and lived most of her life without the ability to read or write. Her granddaughter actually taught her to read and write. She then went on to study at university as a mature age student. She now has started one of the highest levels of studies in anyone's career, and that being a master's. So if you think you can't get what you want out of life, you absolutely can. You may not reach your goal in the first attempt, or the second, or the third. But if you're passionate about what you want out of life, you will absolutely achieve it. And there's one last thing I'd like to finish on. There's a quote from a movie I watched the other day, a little bit cliche. Most speakers probably speak about this. But I was watching a movie, it's called Rocky Balboa. And some of the old fellas here might know it. Some young fellas may have watched it. But there's a quote that comes out of that and resonates deep within me. And I'll try and read it, but I won't say it as well as what Rocky Balboa does. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's what winning is. That's how winning is done. But you've got to be willing to take the hit and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you are because of him or her or anybody around you. Now this is about boxing, but it can be so likened to life. I mean this when I say it. Don't let anybody around you stop you from what you actually want to do. You can make it, and does take sometimes 2, 3, 4 times to actually get there. And life is a challenge, but each and every child here, you can make your chosen career and you can actually excel at it. Finally, I'd like to say congratulations to all the recipients today, and thank you for everyone for listening to me. It's been a utterly pleasure to be able to be, as a young man from Bunjalung area, to come and speak to such a great mob. Thank you.